What's going on this week in Nerf?
Welcome to This Week in Nerf, your source for first-party, third-party, and community Nerf news. I'm Adriana, and this week, Toy Fair 2020 in New York. There's a lot of blasters to cover, so let's see what they had to show. Before we get started, I'm going to put out a call for help for more writers for the This Week in Nerf Digest. I appreciate all of our volunteer writers so much, but having more, especially for weeks like this, would take some weight off of their shoulders. So please join the History of Nerf Modding Discord and contribute in the Nerf News chat. There's also other projects going on in that server, and I'm sure anyone with the inclination and the expertise would be a huge help and be very appreciated. So there's a link to that server in the description. And now, Toy Fair! We'll start off with a newcomer to the blaster space, D-Dart. And they've had a blaster out, the Tempest, for a little while, and it's been pretty well received by the modding community, I think. And they have 4 new variations of this Tempest blaster. So we'll start out with the Cyclone. It's essentially a Tempest, except you have swappable cylinders. When you buy the blaster, it comes with 2 cylinders, so you're able to just take it off, throw it away, get a new one on there, because loading the drum on the fly is a little difficult. So the swapping cylinders is going to be huge for playing during an actual war. They also have the Tempest Pro, which is, again, essentially a Tempest as before, but now with a much faster fire rate. Then they have the Twin Tornado. This blaster has a 54 dart capacity, and it's in 2 rings around the blaster. And it'll fire 2 darts at a time, which is super cool, and also has the option to fire 1 dart at a time, alternating cylinders. So you get some options there, and it's really cool how they're just innovating so much just in this one single blaster, essentially. Finally, they have the Hailstorm, which is inspired by that same design, but this time fires rival-like rounds. And this one is the most exciting to me. 77 rounds of full auto fun? Heck yeah! They only have a 3D printed prototype at Toy Fair right now, but in the future it will have clear windows on the sides so you can see exactly how many rounds you have left. That is just, I want that one. That's the one that I want. Buzzbee hasn't been doing that hot for the past couple of years, but it looks like they're positioned for a comeback if their new blasters are half as good as they look. First up, we have the Battle Blazer. For $10, you get a 12-dart chain-fed pistol. And it looks like Buzzbee's been doing some work on their grips, which has been a complaint that I've had for a while. Buff Daddy says it's very comfortable to use, and it looks substantial, like you could actually hold it with a human hand. This could be a good option, I think, for a cheapo HVZ pistol, since you have some of the front-loading capability with the chain. It's got a slide prime to fire, and there's also a door to remove the chain, so if you have extras, that'd be a quick swap. Love the color scheme, the blue and the gray. That one gets a thumbs up from me. They also have the Springfire. Super economical. $5, you get this teeny tiny 4-dart pistol. It does have a manual cylinder, so you would need to rotate that after every shot manually, but Buff Daddy says that the plunger tube is surprisingly large for how small the blaster itself is. It seems like a winner for $5. Buzzbee's also released some new darts. As far as accuracy is concerned, they're better than the long distance ones, but not as great as the Precise Pros. They do have a heavier tip than the long distance, which definitely would aid in accuracy, but not go as far. And we'll have to see some actual testing to see how they stack up against other darts on the market, like Elites and Waffles. I'm looking forward to see this testing, because I definitely don't like the long distance darts that they include with most of their blasters. They do go a long distance, but like this way, or that way, or over here. Who's to say? The Rebel Mech is probably their most promising blaster. Unfortunately, they didn't have a working model on hand due to the coronavirus quarantine, but we do have a render and some specs. It comes with a 30-dart drum, it's a flywheel blaster, full auto, 2.5 DPS. And if it performs as well as some of the other off-brand flywheels out of the box and has a human-sized grip, which, if you look at the size of the 30-round drum in the photo, the grip looks pretty chunky. which is unusual for Buzzbee. I think that this blaster could be really good for HVZ and modding, and while I'm not a fan of all the random shapes and patterns and details that mean nothing etched onto the side of the blaster, I'm sure it will end up looking great once some of you guys get some paint on there. This is going to be a really good pickup for $20. Thanks for pricing things right, Buzzbee. Zuru X-Shot also had a pretty good showing, mostly because of this blaster. This is the Crusher. It's a 35-round, chain-fed, Juggernaut-style blaster. What's really interesting about it is it's a manual prime. So you prime back, a really sweet rotating barrel happens. That's cool. I'll get back to that in a second. And you put it back and you fire. Or you could slam fire, because slam fire is so much fun. The rotating barrel adds just a cool factor to it. It doesn't actually do anything. There's a faux barrel in the middle and it rotates around it. But it just looks cool, and what's wrong with cool? And if you want to look cool, you can do it later this year for $25. We also have a little bit more information about the gold-plated Meteor and Orbit. We've talked about them briefly on the show before, mainly that they existed. Influencers got a completely gold-plated blaster for being an influencer, and it was a little sad that no one else was going to have them in their hands, so I'm super excited to see that these are going to be available on shelves as Target exclusives. And I actually think that these gold and blue ones look better than the full gold plating. It looks classy, right? They're going to be a little bit more expensive than the standard version, $25 for the Orbit rifle and $18 for the Meteor pistol. These prices aren't completely set in stone yet, but that's what we believe them to be. So check these out in Target later this year. Dart Zone and Primetime Toys have confirmed the Dart Zone Pro 1.1 will be available at Target. They actually said it would be available at Target now, but it currently says out of stock. A few people have said they were able to buy some late on Saturday night, but they sold out almost instantly. And I think that more will probably be added very soon. The main changes to the 1.1 is the recolor to red. Michelle is very excited about that. She's almost glad she didn't buy the 1.0 because the red does look pretty slick. One more update is the stock has been changed. The 1.0 version had a problem where if you push too hard on the stock, it would just collapse, and this one no longer collapses. So that is amazing. I'm so happy that they listened to the community and made the changes that need to be made. So this blaster is going to be available online at Target for $150. And now, what we've all been waiting for, Nerf blasters. First up, we have the Zombie Strike Ghoul Grinder, and I do not like that name. It's a 10-shot pan mag, which is something I don't think that we've seen before on a blaster. Pan mags are a really interesting innovation. I appreciate that, Hasbro, giving us something new. It's got a bolt prime on the left side, and how it works is you pull that bolt, the mag rotates, you push it forward, and you fire. It does not have slam fire, unfortunately. That would have been very cool if it did. There's removable stock and a barrel attachment point on the front. There's also a little bit of onboard dart storage. I believe you get 5 darts of storage on the back of it. And if you think this is cool and you want to grind up some zombies, fall 2020 for $30. Mega is back to being big with the Mega Moto Strike. It looks so cool. I'm a little sad it's not a nitro blaster because I like nitro blasters a lot, but you know what? 10-round semi-auto flywheeler Mega Blaster, I will take it. And even better, it looks like the mags are going to be compatible with the Centurion and the Tyrant. I hope that it'll be confirmed soon, because that'll be great to be able to just have all those Tyrant mags that you can put in this blaster and really run it at a war. It does rev very slowly, but you know what? That doesn't even matter. It's a stock blaster, and there's going to be so much room in this thing for a 3S LiPo. It's going to be good. I can't wait for fall of 2020 because I am definitely picking one of these up for $40. The Rival Finisher is very Chronos-like, but it is mag-fed. And honestly, the most interesting thing about this blaster is the mag. It's a new type. It's a quick load 7-round magazine. And what quick load means is that you can open up a door on the side of it to load multiple rounds at one time. And it's even possible to load rounds while it's inside of the blaster. So that's a pretty cool innovation. So that's just, you're doing good, Hasbro. Keep giving me new cool things. It is important to remember that the blaster is compatible with other rival magazines, but this magazine is not compatible with all other rival blasters. I'm sure it'll work in some, but not all. It's only going to be in Team Blue, so if you're Team Blue, you can pick it up in fall 2020 for $15. The rival Saturn was mentioned on Hasbro's press release package, but there weren't any images anywhere, and I don't believe it was actually shown at Toy Fair. But what we do know is it's a breech-loaded 10-round blaster, and it's claiming to be the longest rival blaster. I'm guessing in function, it'll be nearly identical to the Jupiter. It's also going to come with reactive targets and be a Walmart exclusive, so you can find it in Walmart fall 2020 for $40. Maybe then we'll know what it looks like. And now it's time for Fortnite. I know you guys are super excited to hear about more Fortnite. No, actually, these ones are legitimately really cool, and I'm excited for the majority of them. So first up, we have the GL. I don't like their naming scheme. It's much easier to say grenade launcher. This thing is absolutely massive. It has 6 demo rockets in a cylinder. It's a hamp, which means that you just yank on it and it just flies out when you pull back. And it rotates on the return, so just pop, return, pop, return, pop, return. And it looks like it'll be so much fun to use. The only thing I hope is that your arm doesn't hit the drum while you're firing. It looks like that could potentially be an issue with this one. I 100% am picking one of these up August 1st for $60. Then we have the BASRL. These names are ridiculous. Bolt Action Sniper Rifle Legendary, probably. It's a very large and cartoony shape, just like the other Fortnite blasters. Just the barrel section that protrudes from the blaster is longer than a strife. This thing is really big. But it only comes with a 6-round mag and a removable scope. But, you know, it works with other Nerf magazines, so the 6-round mag isn't a huge deal. I do like that the bolt for this bolt action blaster is on both sides, so it's ambidextrous. Appreciate that a lot, Hasbro. I know our lefties do too. And it's going to be available on June 1st for $40. And with another terrible name, we have the SR Scoped Revolver. Wouldn't that be a better name? This is a hammer action blaster, like the Hammer Shot, except it doesn't have a cylinder. It's a 4-dart smart AR system, so 4 darts are in a row, and every time you fire, it figures out which chambers are full and which ones are empty and fires accordingly. The handle looks really comfortable, and I love the comical cartoony shape. It looks like it just popped right out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Like, I wouldn't even have guessed Fortnite. I would have guessed Warner Brothers something or other. It's got a removable scope that I assume you could put on other blasters or leave off entirely. Overall, I love the look of this blaster. Hopefully the function is decent. You can get this in fall 2020 for $20. Normally I poo-poo repaints, but not this time. The AR Ripley is absolutely gorgeous. It's the assault rifle, but repainted in a transparent blue and purple skin that we actually got a sneak peek of in a previous episode. And you can get this beautiful blaster fall 2020 for $50. Then there's the RL Ripley rocket launcher repaint. Again with this transparent blue and purple. I love it. I am 100% picking this one up fall 2020 for $30. It looks so much better than this one. Why didn't they give me that one? And the last one in the Fortnite line is the SP Ripley. Silence pistol in the Ripley paint scheme, the transparent blue and purple. It looks so good. And also available fall 2020. This one's $20. And it is important to keep in mind that all of these Ripley skins will be limited stock. So if you like them, you will need to pick them up fairly soon after release. Hasbro announced this week that they have the rights for the Halo franchise, and this might be the nail in the coffin for Boomco. The blasters from Boomco's Halo line were incredible. The M6 was a must-have sidearm for the NIC, and the Needler was huge and had so much attention to detail down to the glowing ammo counter, and the MA5 rifle was incredibly comfortable. I don't want to write a eulogy for Boomco, but it's looking more and more like I have to. And Hasbro is making its own version of the Needler, and this one is a microshot. And in my opinion, microshots are a disappointment compared to the Boomco Needler. Hopefully they will revisit it at a later date and do it justice. I know Drax speculated that this line is starting with the one real blaster and 2 microshots as a proof of concept to test the Halo waters, make sure people still want to buy Halo products, but microshots are just sad. You can get this Needler for $10, but I don't know if your hand will even fit on it. They also have the Halo Spanker, I hope that's how it's pronounced, SPNKR. Also a microshot. Weird how they turn a rocket launcher, which could be a super awesome blaster, into a lame single shot blaster. Even though there's 2 barrels on this thing, yeah, it's single shot. Maybe we'll get a full-size version someday. $10 on October 1st. And now the blaster everyone's been most excited for, the Halo MA40. And there's been a lot of incorrect speculation on this blaster, so I'm glad that I can get a chance to clear up some of this right now. So the knob on the side of it is purely cosmetic. People thought it might have been a select fire switch, but nope. The press release was very explicit about this being a semi-auto flywheel blaster. We also thought it might have been a belt feed blaster because there's not a lot of room behind that magazine, but nope, we were wrong there too. It was confirmed at Toy Fair that it has a normal mechanical pusher, making this blaster essentially a Raven in function. A very long Raven. It comes with a custom 10-dart mag, and the mag looks really sweet. I like the stylings of this mag a lot. However, this funky magwell area means you won't be able to use drums. You won't be able to insert it all the way. There's a lot of plastic going on right there. The mag release is very strange. It's behind the mag and up on top of the blaster. I can't really comprehend how you're meant to hold the blaster, hold the mag, and operate the release. I guess I'd need to have one physically in hand to understand how that's supposed to work. The handle seems like it's probably a little bit cramped in the wrist area. The hole for the thumbhole stock is quite small. I'm not sure how adult hands will fare with that. But overall, everyone is super stoked for this blaster. The lines and the shapes are really cool. Personally, I can't get over that green color. I think the green is bad, but paint it up, I think I'll like it a lot better. If you purchase this blaster on October 1st for $50, it will include a skin for Halo Infinite. And this week's mod of the week is the Behemoth from Dr. Flux. This is a Mastodon and Centurion integration with a clip-on hyperfire. So there's no more top handle and wonky grip. He put the Centurion stock and grip in there, and it looks much more comfortable to hold the Mastodon with that kind of grip. He also clipped a second blaster onto the tack rail. He clipped a hyperfire on there, and that's so clever. And he can swap sides too, so it's ambi. There's a lot of fun ideas going on here. The whole thing is powered by a single 3S LiPo, even though it's technically 2 blasters, making the firing of it a little bit funky. The main trigger on a half pull revs both of the blasters, and then if you full pull the main trigger, it fires the Mastodon, and the rev trigger doesn't rev anything, it fires the hyperfire, but you have to make sure that main trigger is half pulled so that everything's revving. That probably takes a little bit of getting used to. But overall, the look of this thing is so cool. It looks just like a blast to play with, and I love seeing big, bulky, creative blasters. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Dr. Flux. And that is all of the Toy Fair news this week. there's still more news, and you can find it at news.foamblastshop.com, because if I had said it out loud here, this video would be a billion years long, and I can't handle that. We've been filming for 2 hours. Oh, so I'm ready to let Michelle take over, and she'll probably be editing for longer than that. This was an interesting episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. All of the links are in the description. I want to give a special shout out to Buff Daddy, who writes for Blaster Hub. There's a ton of news there. Check out Blaster Hub if you want news of all of the blaster places. And Drac, he did a lot of Toy Fair videos that helped me. I'm so tired. Is this an outro? Is this usable? Thank you. Goodbye. I'm gonna sit now. Ugh.